R.I.P. Jonathan Gold. This is Corey, and this is the O The Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Rob. Welcome to episode 224 of the O The Anthem podcast, broadcasting to you from the hashtag OTA LA studios, high above the 110 freeway in beautiful downtown Los Angeles, California. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Thank you for following on all the social media.
Yes, and of course, you can find us at O The Anthem on all your social networks. You're watching this live on Facebook on Monday night as we record it. You already know, but you can join us on Facebook.com/O The Anthem. Make sure you click that little bell that turns the notifications on. You can come and join us for next week's podcast broadcast. Podcast broadcast, that's a mouthful. And of course, you can follow at O The Anthem on Twitter, Instagram, and you'll find our post there as well. And if you want to be part of the show at any time during the week, make sure you call and leave us a message or text to the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
That's 443-219-7595.
Busy week.
Very busy week. Lots of stuff going on. So let's just jump off right at the beginning with the good and the bad and the ugly of sports ball. Yeah. Well, the good is the Orioles could almost not lose a game in the last 6 days. So that was...
Well, seeing as there was an all-star break in between.
They couldn't get much worse. And then they jumped out. I mean, they did play on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, and
or
Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday. I thought they had one of the days off. One of the days they didn't play.
No, it was all three.
Did they lose all three?
I think they did, yes.
Okay, well.
That's weird.
Somebody's here live on the show. Hang on, guys. We're going to go back to the put you on pause. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can't help it if we're popular.
Who knew we were so popular? Apparently people who don't watch the live stream of the podcast. What are you
I never
do?
thought I'd have to put a note on the door. Like,
we need a little red light outside.
put a little sock on the door. Just like podcast OTA After Dark in progress.
I don't know. Is this a sock a universal thing? I don't know if people of both genders know about the sock. If you guys know about the sock, let us know.
Yeah,
maybe
especially if you're a woman who knows about the sock.
Yeah.
So
I think all guys, at least our age, know about the sock.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a generational thing.
I'd be curious to get a straight up or down on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know about the sock? 443-219-7595. Right there.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Anywho,
yeah. So, where were we?
Well, the big news with the Orioles
couldn't lose 7 games, so that's good. They couldn't lose 7.
And then we may never win again.
Yeah.
Because we've traded Manny Machado. Britton should be out as soon as humanly possible.
Yes.
And it's a question mark as to who else is going to go as well. Anybody who will bring back value.
Fire sale. The good news, though, with the Manny trade is it seems as though we were correct, and Manny will be coming to Los Angeles.
Yes.
I think he's already here in Dodger Blue.
Well, he's been playing with the Dodgers.
Right, but
he hasn't played in Los Angeles yet.
Right. But the trade, though, I don't know if it's finalized yet. Wasn't there some questions about some of the players we were getting in the trade?
Well, so there was apparently a physical issue, which is not unusual with the Orioles. And the trade got changed up a little bit. But now it's official.
Oh, okay.
Manny's been playing with the Dodgers.
I think it was the kind of thing where, like, listen, we're going to give you Manny. We'll work out the details on the other end. 4, 5, 6. We'll figure it out. It's going to be what it is. Anything you have would be good for us, really. So
give us 5 good players, and we'll just figure it out.
Anything, really. Anything can help. But yes.
Trying to pull up the actual trade because I don't remember the names of all the people. It's not like, for whatever reason, when we traded Eric Bedard and Miguel Tejada way back when, like, those things got burned into my brain so heavy.
Yes.
I was like, I knew every single person in that trade. And this one, I haven't done that yet.
Well, to be fair, it's not really people of note. And it's not people who will be on the major league team.
We got 2 top prospects from the Dodgers.
But again, prospects who won't be on the major leagues immediately. Some of the people we got in that Bedard trade came into our major league roster immediately.
Yes, but I mean, like, that's not necessarily what we need right now. I'm okay having somebody who needs to stew a little bit because as soon as they come up to the majors, we start the clock on them.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just have like a loaded talent force and then just bring them all up at the same time. So
the starting lineup on opening day has 0 players
Triple A from last year. 5 prospects: outfielder Yusniel Diaz, right-hander Dean Kramer, third baseman Rylan Bannon, right-handed pitcher Zach Pop, and third baseman Breivik Valera.
Okay, I'm hearing 2 pitchers in there. I'm already excited about that. If they're worth
especially
anything.
one named Kramer. He's gonna be popular with the unwashed masses at Camden Yards. All the people from Dundalk aren't gonna be so excited. Like, oh my God, Dean Kramer's on the mound tonight.
And two other players, position players, we probably need an outfielder. Seeing as our outfield is not in great shape, especially at the end of the season when.
And something I was excited to hear about is that he's a on base percentage type of guy. So rather than just hoping and praying that the thunderous swing will turn into a home run, has somebody who gets on base from time to time.
Right. Yeah.
Which would be a refreshing change of pace for the Orioles. Other things that they said during like Dan Duquette had a monumental what do you call it? Conference call.
Okay.
After the trade, where he's just like, we're going to get into international signings. We're going to start working on international markets a little bit bigger. We're going to beef up our analytics division. And it's just like all these things. It's just like, who are the 1980s Orioles and what have you done with them?
But I think him saying it and them doing it are 2 very different things.
I think just saying it counts for something.
Yeah, but there's a lot of women out there who are dealing with men who are like, sweetie, I'm sorry. I know I got drunk last night. It'll never happen again. I'll never do it. And you, much like those women, despite everything that's ever happened to you,
I just believe the Orioles.
He's changed.
He's a good man.
He's changed. It'll never happen again. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I just don't believe it. I don't. I think that we've heard this before. By the way, Dan Duquette.
Well, I mean, like at least it's like the last time I heard the Orioles actually doing something that was anywhere close to like analytics was they brought in some old pitching coach who was successful 15 years before they brought him in.
Yeah.
And he had some sort of contraption that like figured out the perfect rotation or the perfect wind up and delivery for every pitcher on the roster. And it's just like he put them in the machine and he got all the analytics out. This is like, this sounds so weird.
I thought you were going to say the last time we heard about analytics when they figured out, listen, $160 million is an appropriate amount to pay based on his production value.
Nobody's made an offer on him yet. Oh, let's raise it ourselves then.
Let's negotiate against ourselves. No analytics were brought into that. But no, it's a plus that they are talking about analytics, but you're hearing it from Dan Duquette, a man who less than 12 months ago was speaking with the Blue Jays about a possible position.
That was way before.
Was it? I thought it was earlier than this season.
That was like 2013 or something like that.
Okay. Well, I'll never forget. You never forget when they wander. Listen, he might not have closed the deal, but he did flirt a little bit too much. Went up to the hotel room.
Do you want to make a quick run for...
Yeah, here. Why don't you talk a little bit more about this important trade?
Yes. The most important part, at least for me and for Rob, I guess, because at some point I'll be able to actually drag him up to Cesar Ravine, is that Manny's going to be in Los Angeles. So I'm actually going to be able to see him again, other than the one time I drove down to Anaheim to be embarrassed. Well, it took the train.
You're really bad at filling time.
It's tough. It's tough when you have no respect for the people who do solo shows. Like, I don't know how they do it.
I could just talk and talk and talk and talk.
I'd have to like develop all the like Colin Cowherd things where like I sort of like talk to myself, where I'm just like, and who is that prospect that the Dodgers will be trading to the Orioles? I'll tell you about it right after this break.
And we cut to commercial. All right.
Stamps.com.
It'll be nice to have a reason to go. I guess that's a better reason to go. Another thing would be if I got home before 8 o'clock at night, which is what time I got here.
You could wear all your Manny gear and it will be appropriate.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're gonna be welcomed with your Manny Oriole gear or not.
Sure, I will.
Be like, I'm a classic fan. I'm Manny Classic. I've been in since the beginning.
I'm here rooting for Manny. What do you want from me?
I don't give a shit about the Dodgers. I'm just here for Manny. Sorry. But yeah, I suppose it'll be a reason. Maybe they'll start the Manny Express, where if you show up in Orioles gear, you actually get like an express up to the game. That'll be the one way to get me to go to a Dodgers game. Because
they already have one of those.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. You wait in line for the third bus to go past you, and then you get picked up.
Sometimes.
It was 100 degrees outside today. I'm wearing black jeans, all right? I'm in the LA
Nobody
uniform.
told you had to do that.
I'm in the LA uniform, all right? Black shirt, black jeans, black shoes.
That's just Rob wear. That's casual Rob wear.
I'm finally living in a place where it's okay to be matchy, and everyone's accepting of it. I've come to my home. I've come home, yes. Although, by the way, this weekend I did see a alternative, or if you would call it the alternative uniforms, maybe the color splash or color rush uniform, which is white on white on white, all white. That's the color rush alternative. And then the like home alternative, you know, like the Orioles wear the orange shirts.
Yeah. On Saturdays.
It was an Ed Hardy style shirt, all black, but it had roses all over the chest. And he was walking with a girl who was wearing black on black on black, but she had roses on her skirt. I'm like, oh, it's the home alternative. All right. Yes. That's the LA uniform. You guys don't understand that, I'm sure. But
yeah,
everybody wears black on black on black, even though it's 110 degrees.
Or if you don't get the uniform related commentary, then you obviously don't follow Paul Lucas on Twitter.
I don't follow Paul Lucas on Twitter.
Oh, you should.
Okay.
He breaks down like all the aesthetics of like, it's like tonight the Tigers are wearing 2 different shades of orange, and he'll show like a picture of 2 different players wearing 2 different shades of orange, and then all the geeks of the internet are just like, it's so weird they don't even have that in their Pantone Spectrum. You just look through the comments of all the nerds going on about the uniforms,
and right in the middle, at Legend CB5. Yeah, I totally know about this, guys. It's not even their orange. It's their weird Orioles orange. I thought it's just that they.
This is more like a Marlins orange than it is like a Tigers orange. I'll wait for your comments offline.
I'll hang up and listen.
I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
All right. So, I wish I could say that was all that's happened in sports ball, but unfortunately, there was a coalescence of sports and the rest of the world. And I guess this is a good entree into it, is under the sports ball banner.
Yeah.
We've had some highs and lows this week in the world of Twitter. A lot of lows. One of those is one of Corey's favorite players. What's his name?
That's not true. Josh Hader.
Yeah, you were saying that he was one of your favorite outstanding high school players, and you'd followed him on Twitter for the last 8 or 9 years.
That's not at all what I said.
He was one of the only high school players that you followed on Twitter, and I couldn't remember why you said it. Why was it that you were following him on Twitter?
He used to be an Oriole. He was traded from the Orioles to the Brewers in the Gerardo Parra trade. And somebody after the tweets came out was like, well, I guess the Orioles finally won that trade.
I mean, performance-wise, it was a stinker.
Yeah. But so Josh Hader, all-star pitcher for the Brewers.
Long, luscious hair.
This is interesting too. It came out during the game. It broke during the All-Star game.
Oh,
the story,
did it?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there was actually a point where you could see Nelson, because all the players had their phones with them during the All-Star game.
They're taking pictures.
They're taking selfies, and it's all part of the fun. And you could literally see Nelson Cruz like looking through Twitter, and he's like next to Gene Segura, and he's just like, "Did you see this shit?" And Segura's like, it was so funny. By
the way, Hader,
yeah,
who looks like the guy from Office. There's the 3 guys who work in the office, and they all smoke pot.
Oh, Blake.
What is the name of the show?
Anderson. Though? Oh, Workaholics.
Workaholics.
Yeah.
He looks like the dude from Workaholics. And you're like, which one of the guys? The one who doesn't look like a baseball player. That's the one he actually looks like.
Yeah.
The other 2 actually kind of look like
they could potentially play baseball players.
Yeah, they're Braves pitchers from the 90s. Both the other guys.
Yeah.
But he's not looking like a baseball player. But he looks like that. Blake, whatever his name is, Anderson. Anyway, not him.
What's his face? The one I hate. The real annoying one.
The one from the meme that's like a little racist.
He's the one who's also in Pitch Perfect.
Yes. I don't know his name.
I can't remember his name right now.
But that guy.
Yeah. He looks like he would totally be like a overrated Yankee prospect.
Oh, 100%.
Like he
Yeah.
would just fill out the pinstripe uniform. It's like he doesn't quite have the range to make the play, but everyone's just like, "Oh, he gave it all out effort. It's great." It's like this guy sucks.
Anyway,
yeah.
back to Josh Hader.
Yes.
During the All-Star game.
During the All-Star game, it broke. He had several unfortunate tweets from
Why would you say unfortunate?
6. What?
Why unfortunate?
Well,
They're not unfortunate. He purposefully typed them into his phone.
Yes, I know.
Go ahead.
Just saying.
Here, let me give you the focus that this commentary demands.
No, he said unfortunate things for his career, for his ability to
That's true.
be a popular, loved baseball player, because he had some very horrible, racist, homophobic, pretty much everything tweets that you could. If we could make a list of the thing, it's like the Carlin list of the 7 things you can't say on television.
Yeah.
If we could make a list of the 197,000 things that could get you exiled from humanity that you can say on Twitter.
Yeah, he hit all the boxes.
He pretty much did all of them.
Yep. And it almost, and I know they weren't consecutive, but obviously people were displaying them as if they were consecutive.
Yeah, I
as
mean,
if he was trying to check boxes. Like,
right.
Who am I going to offend now? Chicka.
like, I don't have a white power tweet. Let me
Let's add in white power. Okay.
and make sure I put the hand emoji in there to further
Yes.
make sure that people know that I went through the it's not like I accidentally tweeted from my phone, like it auto spelled white
and power?
and then
No.
tweeted it.
I put
and
the
I'm
fist.
like the fist. No, we figured you out with the fist. You had to go to a second menu. You had to go to a second keyboard.
I don't even know what you would search for to get that fist. I can get if you put fist, you get the one that's facing like out. He got the one that's facing up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to find that emoji, Josh.
Yeah.
So you say unfortunate. It was 6 years ago. He was a senior in high school. But is it really unfortunate?
I mean, I think that we're in a very unusual place with the internet right now, because people our age, for one, grew up like we're becoming conscious beings right as the internet was starting.
Yeah.
So I know a ton of people who have tweeted things or put things on Facebook or on Instagram or anything like that, where I sort of looked at it and I was just like, oh, thank God it's just us. Thank God I'm the only one reading this Facebook comments.
I mean,
know?
like I have tweets that are literally like, hey, at Legend CB5, do you want to go to the bar tonight? Like, instead of texting you, I tweeted at you.
Right.
There's a lot of those. And there's other things like, bathroom humor.
Yes. And I think that
Don't go looking for my tweets, by the way. Don't go.
By the way, I saw one of my favorite tweets this weekend was like, all across Hollywood, assistants are scrubbing furiously through Twitter profiles of their bosses.
The moment before I sign the contract on a script, I'm gonna be like, you know what? Delete Twitter. All right, yeah, we're good.
Well, I think the number one problem with Twitter that when it first started, nobody foresaw this to be an issue. Yeah. I think because like Mike Saffron told me to get Twitter. And it was like 4 of us. There was like 5 people on Twitter.
No.
At the time. It was like nobody.
Oh, you were the early one, huh?
No, but I'm saying like it was one of those ones where it's like nobody you knew signed up, so you could only follow a certain number of accounts, and like all the accounts were only tweeting like once a day.
Right.
So you could keep up on Twitter without any kind of a problem.
You reached the point at which, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
It's like I've passed through the 20 tweets that I've seen. Now I'm on to the new tweets. And there felt like a sort of like, oh, this is just supposed to be stream of consciousness kind of thing.
That's how they build it.
Oh,
they
I know.
build it as stream of consciousness.
But
what are you doing right now?
See, the problem is that like
assholes.
The problem is that like a lot of I know that at some point somebody might come back at me with some tweet I tweeted forever ago where it's just like, Corey, did you in fact tweet Derek Jeter should be hit with a car? I'll be like, yeah, probably. Like in the context of that exact situation, whenever I tweeted it, he probably hit like a walk-off or like a grand slam off the Orioles, and I was saying it to be like, morose, but like I don't actually want someone to run him down with a car. But then
though,
somebody's gonna like go like, well, it's not funny, people getting run over by cars. There's nothing comical about that, Corey. And
but is that in the same vein as white power?
No.
Using the N-word freely.
Absolutely not.
Right.
Absolutely not. And
if we were to look back,
no, and I'm not trying. Believe me, I'm not trying to defend.
Are we going to find tweets from @LegendsCB5 that are similar to these Josh Hader?
No,
tweets?
Nothing like that.
All right, Anthem Nation, I have a challenge for you.
Delete Twitter.
Find the most offensive Corey tweet you can. I suggest heading back to 2010 and working your way forward. Although, summer of 2015 may be a good time.
Son of a bitch. I'm going to have to go through my entire Twitter tonight.
During that election cycle where Trump was in, might be a good time.
No.
Although people are, by the way,
a little bit more knowledgeable about it by this point.
Out of context, some of the tweets I sent during that election will not age well. Where I'm like, yeah, no, what's it matter? Vote for Trump.
I mean, like, I feel like in the last 5 years, I've been a lot more
scrolling.
Well, no, I was just gonna pick some random thing out of nowhere, so I'm just sort of like clicking through. But I mean, like, I feel like I haven't really said anything. Like, I've been aware that, I wouldn't want to have to delete a tweet later.
Yeah, I think I've been better about it the last few years.
Don't spend the time trying to like. Yeah, I mean, like all these tweets are pretty normal. I can't see anything out of the usual. Anywho, moving on to other people's tweets, though.
Oh, wait. Oh, no, I wanted to stay on your tweets for a little while.
Well, I mean, like, what do you want me to do? I really feel like...
I really wanted you to stumble on one and be like, whoop,
nope. Oh.
But I guess we're going to miss it.
No.
Yeah, so...
I mean, like, honestly, I'd be more worried about probably the podcast than I'd be worried about the tweet.
Yeah, the podcast.
Because, like, at some point... See, here's the thing. Like,
we're just going to bulk delete old episodes.
See, the problem is that, like... did you see the video of the Cubs fan stealing the ball from the kid?
No.
Did that fall on your Twitter at all this weekend? So during Sunday's game, there was a foul ball hit on the first base line, and the ball guy who was sitting there picked up the ball, threw it towards a kid in the crowd.
And the guy was like, snag.
The kid missed it.
Oh, okay.
And it fell on the ground, and the guy behind him like picked it up and was like, yeah, I got it. And like everyone was roasting him all Sunday, going like, how dare he steal that ball that was it was being thrown to the kid? How do you not give it to the kid?
Life lesson.
And like everyone's like looking
skills.
at him going like, how does nobody say anything to him or anything like that? Everyone's just like looking around going like, hey, he got the ball. Like, and then we find out that guy had gotten like 3 balls throughout the course of the game. And the first one he gave to the kid in front of him.
The one who missed the ball.
Yeah. Seconds after the camera left the guy, like after he had picked it up and celebrated, he gave it to the little girl who was 2 seats away from him. So he was doing the right thing. You just caught the 10-second moment where he was like,
yeah, I got another one.
Where it looked like he was stealing it from a kid and celebrating, you know?
And that's what he'll be known for now.
But I'm saying, like, if we did a podcast like seconds after that ended, seconds after we saw that clip, we'd be like, that motherfucker, I hope he burns in hell. I hope he dies of gonorrhea.
Are you trying to excuse all your hot takes?
No,
Is that
but
what you're doing? Excusing hot
that
takes?
It's so funny that on Sunday, tweets about this guy being a dickhead were like all over the internet.
Yeah.
But now today, it's like a whole bunch of people going like, I didn't know when I tweeted that this guy should be kicked in the nuts repeatedly, that he had actually been a good guy and that the video evidence wasn't indicative of what his...
That's our culture, though.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying, like, everyone was so quick to jump on him, and then it all cleared itself up. The guy who, like, sat right next to him got on Twitter and, like, was, like, searching out people who were saying bad things. It's like, I sat next to him. He was a delight. He was giving foul balls to all the kids.
All right, well, before we move on, let's close up the sports ball segment. But we're not done talking about Twitter because it has been a week for Twitter.
Yes.
First up, I had this conversation with with some of my employees.
Did you lose any followers, by the way? Just while we're talking about Twitter.
No, why?
Because they deleted a whole bunch of bots.
Well, I got no bots that follow me. So all of you true fans, thank you. I might have. I don't really pay attention. I get the weekly roundup. It tells me what I won and lost, and I probably lost 3, but that's normal flux of gain 2, lose 3, whatever. But I was having a conversation with my employees, and I said, "Listen, you guys are too young to understand, but this pendulum of PC culture, it's a swinging, it's a moving, and we started in the '90s where powerful mostly men." Guys could do what they wanted and just get away with it. And then we hit this sweet spot. I don't know, 2010, 2012, 2014, maybe even, where newspapers would do an in-depth investigation. And then when the truth was weighed out, then they would put the story out. Boom. Somebody's life might get ruined, but they deserve to have their life ruined. Mm-hmm. Now we have swung past that point, keeping the pendulum towards the camera, past that point, and now we're here in 2018, as opposed to here where we were in 2010. No, 90s, nice spot in the middle, 2010, and now we're here.
Yeah.
Where people, the Morgan Freeman thing is an example I used, where he might still be a skeevy guy, and I don't want to defend him, but after the woman puts the story out about him, 5 people who were in the room were no, that did not happen. But meanwhile, there were dispersions cast on him for 3 straight days before people were finally Woody Harrelson was I was sitting right next to him. No, he made a joke about the joke that I made. It had nothing to do with her. I don't know why she would even think it was about her.
Yeah.
There was another big high profile one that just happened. But anyway, I was that's where we are now, where people are acting and reacting and jumping the gun a little bit.
Yeah.
And speaking of jumping the gun, James Gunn got involved in that over this past weekend, where unfortunately for him, some old tweets were dug up from 2009, which, by the way, is round about the time that Twitter really started taking off. Back in this period where we're discussing, just post random things. But again, like James Hader, I, unlike James Gunn, did not post about
pedophilia
and rape and all sorts of other things that I would think that he apparently thought were funny, but were not funny.
So I'll say this. Much like we talked about with Roseanne when she got into her Twitter controversy.
Yeah.
There's a level of something that you say that if you got fired for it, you shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
And I think the James Gunn tweets raised to that level.
Okay.
So, yes, I wasn't shocked to hear he was fired. I also wasn't necessarily shocked to hear people defending him.
Okay.
But you have to understand that even if you're on the line, you got to be aware that you could lose your job.
Here's my interjection on that. He has, in the past, admitted this is not the first time these tweets have come to light.
Yeah.
They came to light a few years ago.
Yeah.
And he said, essentially, to paraphrase, if I were to delete them now, it would be as if I was trying to hide from the fact that I sent them or that I posted them. I am not. I am saying it is not okay. I should not have done it. I was wrong. But I'm not going to try to hide from the fact that they are there and sanitize my past. Like they said, assistants all over Hollywood were scrubbing Twitter accounts. He didn't want to hide from it. And I have said on the podcast before that, yeah, maybe I have some stuff out there that's questionable, but I think that anyone who knows me, and in fact, I think it was been said publicly about me before that the person I am now is way different than the person I was 4 years ago, which, by the way, is 2014, 4 years ago. Jesus Christ. And way different than the person I was 4 years before that in 2010. And my first tweets were probably from 2008, maybe? So give me another 2 years before that, back to the beginning. 2008.
23 years old.
Jesus Christ.
24.
Yeah. 10 years ago.
But I'm saying, like, I get, I go on Time Hop, and I think the number one problem that I had in the early days of the internet, where you, like, sort of felt like it was just, like, a couple of people that you knew, was that, like, I see this on Facebook a lot, where I used to say things like, I'm so depressed, I don't know what to do, I just want to lie around all day until I die. And it's just like, you put things out there like that, back then because it felt like the only people who were following you were like friends, and it was like a support system where if you said something like that, they'd be like, "Oh, but it's okay. You want to get some pizza?" Like, you know.
Yeah.
It was like it was an early way that people learned that if they weren't, without having to like reach out and be like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" You could just say like, "I need attention. I need attention."
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I never really thought of it like that until just now, and I'm just like, no, I was just totally trying to get attention.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't that I wasn't depressed. It was just that I was depressed and didn't want to have to like burden somebody with it.
Right.
And I figured if I just put it into the internet ether, then perhaps
someone will volunteer to be burdened. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I've maintained over the course of the podcast that yes, I'm a different person now than I was 2 years ago, 4 years ago, certainly 10 years ago. And I refuse to scrub the past because that's who I was then. And for a while, I had this image as my cover photo on Facebook that was something that used to run on Saturday mornings in front of Tom and Jerry cartoons and stuff like that. That was like, for us to try and change this cartoon is to try and change the past.
Yeah.
We're running these cartoons in their original format, despite the fact that the images that they portray and the messages they have may not be completely politically correct.
Well, I mean, like, so I feel like every single person our age, for the most part, probably at some point said gay all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, that's so gay. And none of us at the time were thinking like, oh, man, I'm really going to put down homosexual people by saying something that isn't having to do anything with whether or not something is gay or straight is gay because it's stupid. It just sort of it became like cool. Like it just became slang for a while.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone I knew at some point said it or used it in some sort of respect.
Yeah.
But we all sort of just understand that like, all right, if you're still doing it, then
now
there's if like today I'm just like, oh, that gay dog. Like it's a completely different thing than when you were in 1998 and you were saying it, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel like I don't know. To me, there's an aspect of the internet that there should sort of be a moratorium on like old things at a certain point, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, at the same time, moratorium in so much as if it's been 10 years, don't judge me for some of my slightly off opinions. This doesn't excuse openly racist, xenophobic, hate.
Yeah, I mean, like,
speech.
you know, if somebody tweeted like, you know, like I want Obama to die because he's black, then that pretty much says everything you need to say. But, you know, if you're tweeting something, you know, like off the wall just to be, you know,
like, give us an example, Corey. What do you mean?
No, I mean, like, so with the James Gunn's tweets, it seems like he was just trying to be provocative.
And again,
and it wasn't.
They
weren't funny, and they're not appropriate.
Right.
But you know, I also thought a lot of this week, like, because like one of the people who were getting really upset about it were talking about one particular tweet where he brought up NAMBLA,
yes,
the North American Man Boy Love Association, which is like a known pedophilia ring, essentially.
Yes,
but. I remember when South Park had a NAMBLA episode.
Yes, they did.
And
honestly, it was probably around the same time that he put that
probably
tweet out.
right around the same time.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that like things are so. I think what bothers me most about the culture that we're in today is it just feels all so completely arbitrary. So like James Gunn, who releases a tweet that's bad enough to get you fired, but it was from 10, 15 years ago or whatever.
10 years ago.
10 years ago. Yeah. 10 years ago, comes back and sort of sinks him now. Whereas South Park did something 10 years ago about NAMBLA, and nobody, like, everyone's just like, oh, South Park. You know, we come to expect that from South Park. It's like, well, why couldn't you have come to expect that from James Gunn? Maybe that wasn't the best version of the humor for who he was as opposed to what South Park is, because you know South Park to be inappropriate.
Right.
And you don't necessarily want to be known as the inappropriate director for the rest of your life. So if you have that in your past.
Yeah.
But I mean, like...
South Park also used gay as a, like, in that general term that you were talking about earlier, for, like, the first 4 seasons. And then all of a sudden they were like, you know what? That's probably not cool. Let's stop that.
But they also... I think the thing about South Park, too, is that they they would have the jokes about it, but then they would come around on it by the end. Like, I feel like there was an episode when they stopped using gay.
Yeah.
When they were talking about Stan's gay dog.
Yeah. Okay.
And they had an entire episode where all the characters were essentially going like, "Oh, your dog's gay." Like, you're saying like it's stupid as opposed to like, it's like, no, he's actually a gay dog. And then by the end of it, you come to some sort of peace with.
I just feel like Trey and Matt are Teflon, and you can't stick anything to them.
It's one of these days, it's just gonna, like, I feel like the least provocative episode of South Park ever is going to be the thing that just like sinks them.
Well,
like,
they're making fun of Trump. That might be one of the ways. But so James,
and the fact that they have episodes where instead of like the version of their Trump's "Make America Great Again" is "Fuck them all to death," and it's like not even. I don't know. I think it's so funny. Today on Twitter, R. Kelly was in the news.
Oh, yes.
And everyone, I saw a ton of tweets where people were just like, see R. Kelly's trending, hoping that he got arrested. Find out that he just releases a 20-minute song that everyone's going crazy about.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the, I would argue that R. Kelly, if we were ranking how terrible people are, is higher on that list than James Gunn.
Right.
But R. Kelly doesn't get his comeuppance.
No, he's going to get streamed a lot.
If you're talking about whether or not, Johnny Depp was at Comic-Con this weekend.
Yep.
You could argue that the allegations against him with being emotionally and physically abusive with Amber Heard are worse than even the James Gunn tweets because that's an actual physical act that's being alleged against him. But, he's still going to be welcomed to be in the new Harry Potter movie, and he's going to be in, Pirates of the Caribbean forever because he makes money.
And how about, though, in the middle, where those have been all but confirmed, and Chris Hardwick was disinvited from Comic-Con.
Right.
From allegations that even the person who alleged them, who didn't really allege them, has since backed off of. But Chris Hardwick is not at Comic-Con.
I mean, it just seems like... I could pick out just randomly 15 people in Hollywood who have done horrible things that have some sort of like, I don't want to say like verifiable sense to them, but like, R. Kelly was found not guilty.
There's a video of him,
but it's pretty clear that he could have easily have been found guilty.
Yes,
and I feel like there's
OJ also found not guilty.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, if you told me that I'm thoroughly convinced OJ killed Nicole, I'd be like, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I get it. I don't know.
Here's the question: does James Gunn get fired?
If you want to clean up Hollywood or entertainment in general or whatever, if you want to just clean up the world and you want to just punish everybody regardless of how big on the totem pole they are, how much money they bring in, then I'm fine with that. But if you're going to fire James Gunn from Guardians 3, but you're going to give Josh Hader a standing ovation when he comes out to pitch for the first time after his white power and N-word tweets, then we're gonna have a discussion of like where. Let's
consider the source
where the line is.
He was pitching in Milwaukee.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, and like just like Ray Rice got a standing ovation after he came for his first preseason game after hitting his wife, his then girlfriend. Yeah,
Consider the crowd. I mean,
yeah,
But question: James Gunn, does he get fired if he is working for Blumhouse versus Disney?
No.
Because Blumhouse is just like, no, we'll take the press. Keep filming here.
I mean, I think that Disney can. For a director, for a project like Guardians, there's enough directors you could get to film that thing. Nobody was seeing it necessarily because of James Gunn.
But that's not a 1 and 2.
Yes, but that's not a knock against him as a director. I'm just saying that like, if Colin Trevorrow directed the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie, would it be a drastic difference from the James Gunn one?
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Because it definitely had a tone through the first two.
Right.
It carried that line through the first two.
Yeah.
If it skews greatly, I guess we'll see if it was James Gunn or not. And are you going to ruin a franchise over 10-year-old tweets that were clearly meant to be stupidly provocative to a small crowd of your friends.
And I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, I understand why people are defending him. I understand why I naturally want people to be able to make amends for terrible things that they do, because we're all human and we're all going to make mistakes at some point or another.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is also, again, like I said, on that line of, if you say something like this, then you might be fired. And that is a line that I feel is appropriate for everybody, you know?
If you're Johnny Depp and you've made $3 billion in the last decade, or you're James Gunn and you're coming into your
exactly. Like if all of a sudden we went back on Johnny Depp's Twitter and he said the same exact things as James Gunn,
he should be fired.
He should be fired as well.
Yes.
Or if we're going to if everyone's going to say like, well, it's Johnny Depp, it was 10 years ago, let's relax. Like he's clearly a different person than he was back then.
Yeah.
Like then we have to be accepting of that line for everyone as well, you know?
Right.
And if you're cheering Roseanne's firing and you're saying that James Gunn like James Gunn deserves a second chance and nobody else, like, you know, there's all these weird lines of like,
I'm going to say those are different though. Roseanne, who has previously posted pictures of her putting gingerbread men in an oven dressed as Hitler on Twitter.
And that's the other thing. None of these things are apples to apples comparisons, which makes it tough to say like that one thing should equal another. But I mean, like, I remember I'd never wanted Michael Vick to play again in the NFL, and he got another chance because he was so talented that somebody thought that he was deserving of playing football and that he would equal wins for the team.
He paid his debt to society as well.
He did, which is something that almost nobody really does.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, James Gunn might be in Hollywood jail for a little while, but we don't think that he's done directing movies because of this. He's gonna do something else.
It won't be for Disney,
right?
Because they won't want the stink. But there will be somebody who is like, yeah. Let's get him.
Yeah.
What's his price now? Okay, of course.
It's lower than it was just 10 minutes ago, so we might as well.
Let's get him to do something. And of all this talk, still not the worst thing that happened on Twitter this week because...
not the worst thing that was tweeted this week.
Because this morning, the president woke up and decided, you know what? You know who I haven't pissed off in a while? The Middle East. Let's get started on that problem. And decided to, in all caps, threaten Iran vaguely with nuclear annihilation.
Well, I don't know if it's that vaguely. All right, so here's the tweet. I just pulled it up.
Here we go.
You'll know when I'm in all caps. To Iranian President Rouhani. Never ever threaten the United States again, or you will suffer consequences the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. We are no longer a country that will stand for your demented words of violence and death. Be cautious.
Yeah, response from... Did you see the response?
Out of fucking nowhere, too. Like it.
Did you see the response from the Iranians, by the way?
Like where he was like, apparently that was a response to something the Iranians had said before that too.
Yes, that and basically that peace with Iran can be the mother of all peace. War with Iran is the mother of all war, and not directed at the United States. I don't know if it was directed at anyone. It is a generalized statement, and Trump was just like, "All right, here we go." And Iran responded.
I just like to imagine that. What's his face? Mustache.
Ayatollah Khomeini?
No. The mustache in the White House.
Bolton. Yes.
Bolton was just like, oh, they fucking deserve it. Just light them up.
Do it.
I know Iran's banned or Twitter's banned in Iran, but just do it. Just do it.
But I just don't. I don't understand. Like, I want to go back and see what was on Fox News 2 minutes before he tweeted this. Like, it had to be that, right?
Yeah.
It had to be something about Iran. It had to be something about them talking about this. There's no way that this isn't just stream of consciousness from inside the president's head to his fingers and out.
Yeah.
Because I got to ask you, how would a president in the days before Twitter have passed out such a dictation to another foreign leader?
I mean, you could call them.
Oh, yeah, or held a press conference.
See, but I feel like much like all really ridiculous Trump tweets that we end up talking about on the podcast, it's just to cover something else.
Yes.
I mean, like all this news in Trump Russia land has been gumming up the airwaves for a week now. He's probably fucking tired of it.
Yeah.
Specifically today, there were releases of all the charging documents that started the whole Trump-Russia collusion thing. And surprise, surprise, almost none of it has to do with the dossier. That was just a contributing factor to evidence that they already had. And Paul Manafort's about to start his trial, and 5 people have gotten...
I can't believe that he is going to take that thing to trial. What kind of legal advice is... I mean, is he did you ever watch... do you watch Chicago PD?
I'm surprised that they're wanting to do it so quickly.
Oh, no. Because the press on the time is to get him to roll. But do you watch Chicago PD?
No.
Okay. There's a character, for those of you who do watch it, Olinsky, who is one of Voight's underlings, who, like, despite them laying out this case, saying, we've got everything on you. We got DNA on the body, and it's yours. We got your fingerprints. I got a witness that puts you at the scene of the crime. He's just like, no, wasn't me. And he's like, I'll take it to trial. Like, that's Manafort. He is an old, apparently, who knew, he's an old school guy who's going to be like, nope, not going to do it. Not going to roll. Not going to do it. All right. By the way, Olinsky, shivved in prison. Not saying that that's what should happen or what will happen, but, you know, the problem is if you have knowledge and you're in a place that's very confined,
yeah,
you know, powerful people like to get rid of people.
I just imagine that he thinks that he's going to get pardoned.
Manafort?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Find me guilty and get pardoned.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Just get it over with. Like, come at me with your best shot. He'll pardon me.
Even if
then we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And then that's it. I move on with my merry life.
But unfortunately,
and Trump will have Kavanaugh on the bench soon enough, and then he won't be able to get in any kind of trouble because he's going to rule against charging a sitting president. And then we're just stuck in this until 2020 when we elect whoever hopefully beats Trump.
Kavanaugh, by the way, who is still on the bench and is still ruling against.
Yeah. I don't even take a day off, dude. Dude,
you're up for a Supreme Court seat. Maybe just be like, you know what? I'll give up this job just in case I get to sit on the Supreme Court.
Usually people who are up for a Supreme Court seat go away for a while.
Yeah.
They go to like the Yucatan where nobody can find them, and then they only show up the day that they have to testify in front of Congress or the Senate.
Yeah.
And then they do their day of stand-up, then they go back to the Yucatan.
Just wait.
And then just wait.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they're confirmed, they come back into regular life.
Kavanaugh's like, you know what? I can't let one day go without oppressing brown people. So let's put this robe on. Okay.
Though, to be fair, apparently Rand Paul, surprisingly enough, is thinking about voting no on Kavanaugh.
Wow.
So if you get Paul to switch and you lose lose McCain's vote.
Paul is not thinking about voting no. Paul is thinking about holding the vote hostage to get something that he wants. And the question is, can the Senate put together some package that satisfies everyone to get the votes that they need?
See, I don't know. I think that Rand Paul is standing on legitimate Fourth Amendment issues that he feels like are going to...
You remember when I said 2 weeks ago that you were like the vigorous defender of the Pauls?
No, I wasn't.
And you were like, no, I've never done that before. That doesn't sound like me.
I was speaking fine of Rand Paul before, not necessarily Ron Paul.
I'd like to take the tape back to 2012 if we can.
Well, I've also talked about how I'm probably a libertarian too, or like you could probably best describe me as a libertarian. And as far as libertarians in politics go, it's usually just the Pauls that you got. Libertarians under the shadow of republicanism.
See, this is the thing: is right now the Senate should be getting ready to confirm Kavanaugh. Well, one, they should be, but they're not. The Democrats are thinking about, are we in the position to stop this? And there were 3 judges that were still up for appointment, not Kavanaugh, but lower court judges.
Yeah.
2 of them got a hearing, and the last one they're like, well, we're not going to let you have that last one now. Like, stop all 3. What are you doing? Like,
stop them. Like,
what is this piecemeal? It's Chamberlain in Munich right now. Like, listen, yes, we had to give Trump the Sudetenland and half of Czechoslovakia, but he says he's happy with that. He's not going to push on for anything else. I'm sure. Peace in our time. It'll be fine. Yeah, it's ridiculousness. And the Democrats are not going to do anything about it. And all I can see is like on Twitter is blue wave. The blue wave's coming. Yeah. Why do you want a blue wave? Yeah, they're just going to get in, and the Republicans are just going to stall everything.
It's so funny. I was thinking of the last 2 weeks here. I've been thinking about one line from our cartoon president.
Okay,
where it's Trump and Schumer sitting outside of the Senate.
Yeah,
and he says to Trump, "We are going to go absolutely bananas on you," and like. Just him, like even the cartoon version of Schumer actually saying that, like made me go like, "Oh my god, they're gonna do something."
Nope,
but like
they're not
in real life. Like it's like that's the best I could get as a cartoon of Schumer saying like, "We're gonna go absolutely bananas on you." And
but
I'm just like, no, they can't.
I do like the portrayal of Nancy Pelosi and
they don't have the sack in which to.
They don't.
No,
not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
All I think of it like, what about the? It was oh fuck, what's his name? Georgia Congressman. Was that Selma?
Oh, the one I couldn't think of.
Yeah.
6th District of Georgia. John.
Can't remember.
Dang it. Got his head busted open in Selma.
Blank on his name.
He's got a whole wing named after him at the Civil Rights Museum.
John Lewis.
That's it.
He remember what was it like 2 years ago when he sat on the floor overnight and was like gonna have the guards drag him out over something. Wasn't that nice? Wasn't it nice when somebody was standing up for something? I mean, like I feel like this Trump tweet alone should get Cory Booker to just like sit in front of the portico at the White House and be like, nope. Not gonna let it happen. Your car's not coming through. You're not allowed to do presidenting today.
Yeah, and by the way, I appreciate everybody who was out in Lafayette Square, like after he came back from Russia or from Helsinki, and they were like playing Russian music at all hours of the day and night. And, there's no residences around there except for the White House. So you can feel free to do that. But, like, what are you really doing? I mean, he's just going to put on his $1,000 Bose noise-canceling headphones and get the best sleep of his life. Because I imagine the bed in the West Wing's got to be nice, right? It's got to be a Casper or something. Casper, baby. But no, I mean, like, what does that really do? Like, and you're all out there saying, we're protesting. This is treason. And we're going to vote Democrat. And then, what do you think that's going to do?
Well, not only that. I mean, like, I feel like the other thing that you have to realize is if you're a celebrity, and by celebrity, I mean, like, anybody infamous at all.
Yeah.
You probably have dealt with people just saying irrationally bad things to you all the time anyway. Go pick a celebrity who like people love. Like go to like Chris Pratt's Twitter or something like that. Just go to a random tweet and then scroll down a little bit and you'll find somebody who's just like, "You motherfucker, I hope you die of AIDS. You can't get away from all the horrible things that you've done."
People are garbage and the internet will show you that.
Yeah, and then I'm sure like Chris Pratt's just like going through his mentions and he sees that and he's just like, whatever. And just like moves on.
Yeah.
Like and like at a certain point you just become desensitized to people saying mean things to you. And I'm sure Trump's the same way. Like at this point, like nothing that you're saying to him is like getting through. Like he's just gonna be able to move past it because he's used to hearing like being in the New York tabloids forever and everything. Just move on. He just doesn't even think about it. He doesn't even break stride.
So what's the answer?
Impeach him. Like,
none of it matters. No, because then Pence is just going to be president. Is that going to be better?
I feel like everyone's just waiting for again, like we've talked about before, like Mueller just walks up to the lectern, just drops a whole bunch of files on the thing. And then I'm just hoping that people are just hoping that whatever he says also involves Pence. Like, and then we can just clear the deck. And maybe Paul Ryan becomes like a figurehead president for 2 years
they'll wait till after 18 and Ryan's probably gone. He's probably going to get beat by because he's not coming back.
Yeah.
He's not up for re-election. So whoever is the
majority leader, so maybe Pelosi.
Maybe God, let's hope she gets beat.
Yeah.
Isn't there somebody running against her in her district too?
Well, no, not really. Who's going to beat Pelosi in San Francisco? Like,
come on, Democrats. God, damn it. Anyway, but yes, probably Pelosi, unless they smartly
change it up to somebody else.
Yeah, and they're like, you know what, Nancy, why don't you just what is the the old Pope, he's something right now, right? Like Francis is the Pope, but there's another living
like an
Pope.
emeritus.
Yeah, you're like a Pope emeritus.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you become the
Why don't we
majority
move-
leader emeritus?
Yeah.
And we'll get somebody
So
else.
like a
in
law firm, like when you stop becoming useful, but you can't take her name off the letterhead.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
just
just
like
stick it to the
we're gonna
side.
move you to emeritus status.
there. Yeah. You know who would be nice is Ocasio, the girl from.
See, I think it's too early for that.
No, majority leader. Now move that party way to the left. Wait, way to the left. Yes, that's where we need to do.
Well, you've just been elected. Now you're president.
It's like Designated Survivor. Everything went well for Kiefer Sutherland in that show, right? I don't know. I only watched the first episode. I feel like everything was fine, though.
I mean, other than everybody dying, I felt like things were okay for him by the end of the first episode. Don't tell me what happened to Designated Survivor.
Yeah, I
have
still want to
catch
see
up
it.
on one day.
I think it's canceled. I'll watch all 3 seasons at some point. I have Hulu. But one other last note for the week. If you're concerned about the president threatening other countries via Twitter, if you're concerned about, just generally everything that's going on with the administration, you should also be concerned with the fact that they are pulling security clearances for anyone. And I think their argument is people from the previous administration who may be doing harm to the administration.
Well, they're trying to like profit off the fact that they have security
Okay.
status. But I mean, like Kushner's doing that too. So that's not a very good argument for me.
The truth is that if you speak poorly about the president, they are removing your security clearance.
Yeah.
And this is something that dictators do right before they make moves to seize power. And I'm not saying that Trump's doing that. I'm saying that if there is a playbook to follow, one of the things you do is, hey, we're going to start talking about some shit that we don't want to get out. This dude has a history of letting things get out. Take away his security clearance because I don't want him getting briefings anymore. And,
So let me put it this way. George W. Bush still gets security briefings.
yes.
Uh,
At the behest of the president, by the approval of the current president.
yeah, but I mean, usually it's just the thing that everyone who had security clearance of some sort of, like if you were high up on the chain,
Yeah.
you usually just keep your security clearance.
Yes.
And maybe you get briefings, and if you're like a former president, you definitely get briefings at some points. You don't get all the information that Trump gets, but you get more than the average citizen gets.
And depending on who you are, Clinton apparently got very detailed very often. And then George W. Bush, at least in the interim painting years, I don't know if he's back, but
Yeah.
for some years there, apparently had no interest at all in the briefings. He
Right.
was doing his own thing. Clinton, though.
But I mean, like
always
the
was
idea
interested.
being that, if Trump wanted to invite all the other presidents to the White House, he could
Yeah.
talk to them about the issues of state without having to break the security claim. I mean,
You
like
get advice from
give
the presidents.
classified information to somebody who doesn't deserve it.
They're presidents emeritus.
Yeah.
You can get advice from them even though you are still in control. If Trump was in the habit of getting advice
Yeah,
from, anyone.
If Trump was just like, "Hey Bush, come over.
Yeah.
Hey W, come over. Let's talk about this thing."
But now
you want to? Should we nuclear annihilate Iran? Does that sound like a good idea?
Let's see, there's 5 of you living here. Let's have this conversation. Who thinks we should annihilate Iran? I'm seeing 5 no's. Okay, but just hear me out for a second though.
Bolton says they're really mean to me.
George W. Bush is like, you're listening to Bolton? You put Bolton in this? No.
Wait a
no,
minute.
no.
Wait a minute. Bolton's still alive?
I was gonna say HW might be like like my John Bolton. Didn't he work for me too? Yeah, he had to make some kind
How
of deal with the
old
devil.
is this dude?
His mustache hasn't been shaved since 1978. But anyway, so
Do you think that the reason why Trump doesn't usually like mustaches is because his dad was such a fucking dickhead?
you mean like he's got some kind of like pent up thing about
Yeah,
mustaches?
like his dad was such a dick to him, and his dad had a mustache, so now nobody can have a mustache because it just reminds him of his father and how terrible he was to him.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, like I feel
Stranger
like
Things.
if you're talking about the way to like really beat Trump down, I don't think it's like getting on his Twitter and just being like, "You're the worst president ever, and everyone hates you," and blah 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 blah. I think the way to do it would be like, if we got like the Trump baby
Yeah.
that they had flying over London,
Which is apparently coming to the U.S. now.
maybe if we just got like a Frank Trump tweet or a Frank Trump blow up thing
Yeah.
that looks like his dad, and then we could just like have it follow him all over the place, and then just yell things like "I'm disappointed in you" and "I'm ashamed to have you as a son,"
Even
and
better.
stuff like that. It would like further the mental breakdown to the point where we have to do something about it.
Can we start a Frank Trump Twitter? Get it more followers than him, and then just have it tweet out hateful things about him.
Well, Trump can't block people anymore
Right.
because the
court
Supreme
said he
Court
can't.
ruled that that's like what was it like electioneering in bad faith or something like that.
Well, no, it's just you can't. It is a way for it's a First Amendment violation. It's
Yeah.
for people to get recourse with the government. You've made it clear that your account is essentially the president's account. Therefore, you cannot block anyone. And whether or not he's following that or not, I suppose it's not like he followed anything else that the court says he should do.
So
But-
here's what we'll do. We'll make up a Frank Trump tweets.
Yes.
And then we'll just have it say really terrible thing like, "I've never been more disappointed to have someone like you as a son." And then just put at real Donald Trump on it, and then just push it like
Yeah.
promote it in DC so it like gets a nice little groundswell going.
I bet you we could find real things that the father said about the son and just post those over and over again. Here's an interview from Frank Trump from
I don't got time for your
1979.
shit, Donald. I'm going to a Klan rally.
My son will never be anything in New York real estate. He doesn't have the balls for it. Oh, yeah, let's push that. That's a good one.
Promoted.
But
By the way, just an aside real quick while we're thinking about Twitter again. What does a man have to do to get banned from Twitter, by the way? Because, like, I seem to remember that if there were any threats of violence,
Yeah.
that would equal having your account banned.
Yeah.
So is threatening to drop a nuke on Iran, like, not count as, like,
Nope.
physical violence? Like,
no, it has to be centered towards a group or an individual. So, like, if, for instance, you
so
say,
a group of Iranians don't...
No. That's an entire That's an entire country, and it's foreign policy. I mean, the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, they wouldn't be allowed to have Twitters if it was about not killing people. You know, an entire generation of our young people or theirs.
Yeah, but like the
So-
Navy's Twitter doesn't just go like, "Hey, fucking knock it off, Norway, we're coming your way."
It glorifies violence, though.
But it does
And
it
to be
after
fair,
the fact.
The Proud Boys have Twitter accounts where they talk about beating people up or let them come after us. We're gonna
Yeah, but I
defend
guess
ourselves.
just generally speaking, the far right has been able to avoid Twitter's
I think that
scourge
it's
because
gonna come out.
That's how they make money right now. So
Elon Musk was unmasked to be a GOP supporter. I think we talked about that last week. Did we?
I don't know.
Elon Musk, by the way, the hero, the billionaire that everyone likes to defend for whatever reason, like him and Jeff Bezos. I don't know why you guys want to defend these two billionaires so much, but knock it
Well,
out.
you were doing it for a while too.
I was defending Elon Musk because along the lines of, hey, let him do what he's going to do.
Yeah.
But not like, hey, his crazy shit is justified. I make as much fun of Elon Musk as I do Kanye. You're both doing this pseudo-intellectual, philosophical nonsense. Knock that shit off. Just put us on Mars already. Either Kanye or Elon, whoever gets us there first. But where was I going with this? Defending billionaires. Oh, Elon Musk was outed as a huge GOP supporter and immediately like silenced himself on Twitter because he thought that it was going to be a problem. Little did he know that there were scores of people ready to defend him. I think we're going to find out that Jack is a very strong right-leaning person,
Probably.
and that he has specifically sent like instructions that, listen, there are accounts that are okay to talk about violence and they're not, and they're I'm waiting for the whistleblower. That's what I'm saying. I guarantee
waiting
you
for
someone's
somebody
gonna
in
come
Twitter
down.
HQ to like
Yeah.
say like, all right, we were told not to block Alex Jones because he brings a lot of revenue to Twitter,
Yeah.
and
We were desperately needing revenue, and if we block Alex Jones, then all of his
because there was a
supporters stop
while
using
where
the platform.
people were wondering how Twitter was going to survive. Like, how
Yeah.
does it make money?
Well, they do run ads and
Yeah.
promoted posts and everything, and I'm sure Alex Jones.
I mean, it seems to
buys
be
a lot.
less of a problem than it was. I mean, I don't hear people talking every week about like Twitter going under.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, it used to be you would hear about Twitter going under like you would hear about MoviePass going under.
Yeah.
Like it was just like a foregone conclusion.
It's
How
gonna
does it possibly make money? It's not gonna work. And now I don't ever hear that about Twitter anymore. I still hear about MoviePass, but like
I think that the news agencies all jumped on Twitter, and now in order to get your post up first, you promote it. And it's like, this is part of our budget now. It's promoting posts on Twitter, and that means money for Twitter. But I think we're going to find out that Jack is not necessarily a member of the alt-right, but maybe alt-right friendly. And he recognizes that that's where money is, and he's going to continue to protect them. So
I mean, like, more than anything, I think the problem with Silicon Valley at this point is just that they don't want to be seen as. So it's like, I remember for a long time I would read on social media for like filmmakers and stuff like that, where they're like, don't take outrageous political stances because you don't know who you might be offending with your, you might have a Republican. If you say George W. Bush is a fucking idiot on Twitter, then maybe that person who's a Republican sees your tweet and they don't hire you. And it's best just to keep it, to yourself. And now we're in a place more than ever where people are just like, Donald Trump is the biggest fucking lunatic ever, like at Tom Cruise. It's like, you can literally just say whatever you want about Trump. Like, everyone's just on the same page about that one. But like, Jack and the Twitter and Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg and everybody is like, well, they are the other side of this argument, so we can't take away their voice, because if we take away their voice, then we're going to be accused of being this leftist leaning organization where we don't allow all the voices to come out, and we're gonna let that person talk about how eating meat is murder and blah 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 blah, but we're not going to silence it. It's weird. Like, there's no version of the far left which is as outrageous as the far right now. I
mean, there is. You just don't. You're not. I am keyed into them.
Yeah,
I am keyed into them. You are not. The problem is that the far right
Rob dog whistles them all damn day.
The far right is saying, let's beat up / murder minority populations and protected groups. The far left is saying, let's beat up and murder the far right.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're getting banned for saying that.
Yeah.
So someone on the far right says that, black and brown people are not equal to the rest of us, and they shouldn't be protected by laws. This thing in Florida, the stand your ground law, where it's like, hey, why did he even have to justify himself? That the guy was black. He should have just been able to shoot him if he wanted to. Still active account.
Yeah.
Guy says, hey, we should come, and everyone who's in this group should get treated the same way that guy treated the guy in the parking lot. Banned. So, like, me saying that because you have an opinion that is controversial, to say the least.
I mean,
you want to kill minorities, that's okay. Me saying I want to kill you because you want to kill minorities gets me banned.
I agree. I think it's weird. I think that they're probably just trying. They feel like they need to be more.
They're overcompensating.
To the right because they don't want to look like they have some sort of bias. And the problem with that, it's like, it's the same problem with like CNN, like where they sometimes they have a panel with 15 people on it, and they feel like they have to put one super outrageous Trump supporter in the panel.
Yeah.
Just to make it seem like it's not just 15 people who are ragging on Trump.
By the way, guys,
like, you got to get the one guy who goes on there and he's just like, haven't you guys seen the economy? Look how great it is. What are you guys going on about?
CNN, Corey watches you a lot. The panels are getting too big. Can we just get it down to like three people? When they start having multiple screens of faces, and it's like, Don's not even on either of those screens.
Yeah.
It's Don and 2, and then a screen of 16, and another screen of 16. I'm like, yeah, we have too many people's opinions. All right, we don't need all of this. Let's be more concise.
Yeah.
This is why the right hates you. This is why we can't get anything done. This is why Democrats.
Well, I mean, like, at least CNN, I guess, does try and find somebody to make that opposite argument. As opposed to, like, I would understand why people don't like MSNBC, because they'll have these panels with 7 or 8 people, and it's just all
agreeing with each other.
Yeah, all Reverend Jackson. Just
I got nothing to say. He made the point exactly as I would. Yeah.
Yeah, Rachel, why isn't Trump impeached? I don't get it.
Wait, let me.
And then you go over to Fox News, and it's nobody.
And like, yeah.
Every once in a while, Shep Smith goes like, "This doesn't seem right." And
John Roberts. John Roberts is just like, listen. It's a little much to say that he's not a good journalist. He is a good journalist. I've been a friend of his for a long time. His views, crazy, but he is a good journalist.
He technically is a journalist.
Yes.
I looked up the definition in the dictionary, and he is a journalist.
He is a journalist, yes.
Speaking of real journalists,
Yeah.
you know where you can find more?
Where's that?
OTheAnthem.com, CoreyDoTheAnthem.com, O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. And we're not real journalists, so don't act like...
No, we are not.
We're like Sean Hannity. We're spokespeople.
Entertainers.
We're entertainers.
We're news entertainers.
Yeah. If you want more of me, you can find that at CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com, at LegendCB5 on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook.com/CoreyBakerFilm. And the review for Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming up. Got delayed a little bit, and will probably be delayed a little bit more because I got some secret I'm going into tomorrow.
Ooh.
And hopefully you'll be able to see something about that later in the week.
Excellent. All right. Well, and if you want more from me, you can certainly find more at Robert N. Cheek on all your social networks, robertncheek.com, where you can find links to my political blog, the news website, and the books, which are available on Amazon.
Barrow's books.
Also, check out Wattpad. I have a previously unread story now up on the app, or not the app. It's a website. You can also use the app. It's called Wattpad, WATTPAD. If you search for my name, you'll be able to find it on there. And I'm uploading chapter by chapter. I'm working on my new book on Wattpad as well. Trying something new, just seeing how it works out. But basically, people can read along as you write and be like, hey, I really like this character. Or, hey, what's up with this? And so it helps you find plot holes as you write.
Oh, I don't know if I like that.
Not something for Corey, but something that I'm really going to enjoy, I think. Because one of the things that I don't like is when I get to the end of a story and I realize that, like, upon my second pass, I have to rewrite 3 or 4 chapters because I've left a character in the midst of something and then never went back to them.
Yeah.
That's what stream of consciousness gets you. It gets you done writing fast, but it leaves a lot of dead ends. So I'm hoping that this will help. So check it out on Wattpad.
All right. Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
See you soon, Manny.